Welcome back to the Homes on Homes podcast. I'm Mike Holmes. I started this podcast to keep educating people on how to make it right, just like I've been doing for over 20 years on television. Here, you'll find raw, unscripted conversations with experts on building healthy homes, choosing quality products, safety at home, and more. Let's get started. Welcome to another Homes on Homes podcast, and today we're going to be talking about more innovation. And I got to be honest with you guys, I was a little bit excited. I'm even more excited now that we're in the back. Today we have Andy from HP Site Print and Peter from Building Point. And we're going to be talking about, which I thought at first was, like an equivalent to a robot vacuum. It would go around the floor, because I was trying to figure out what the hell this thing is. This is absolutely incredible. I thought it just drove around and did measuring. Oh, no. It can do measuring, it can do depth, it can do floor leveling. It's a site printer, right?
Yep,
okay.
Indeed.
So what do we do? On the show, it's not so much about the show, on every construction job that we are on, even residential, my guys will go in, we get on our knees, and we will print the whole layout on the floor so there's no mistakes from the electricians, the plumbers, HVAC, cabinets, doors, and we literally work by that. And now I can use something like this that will come in and print it on the floor.
You can, yeah.
Who thought of this? Is this you?
So actually, it was a member of our team on the R&D team. He just serendipity. He'd never been really on a job site in his life prior to that. And we had this email go out and, hey, we're looking for innovations. And we had been in the construction space before in positioning. We made some of the earliest total stations as well. And we exited that business over the course of the 70s. And we're like, hey, we're already with all these customers, with plotters, with workstations. Let's do this. And so we did it.
So, everyone works from CAD now, right? It's all in there, especially in commercial sites. Everything's in CAD. And all we're doing is literally loading it into this guy.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. You just shoot control. So if you have to have at least 2 control points to have a really good, accurate layout. You could get away with 1, layout to a wall. Yeah, it's called a layout to line, but really it's only grabbing 1 point when you do that. And, it's for an existing space. Like an OR, you want to reconfigure it, you just go up against the wall and shoot it. But in most jobs you have control, so there's a control network on site. Those exist in real life, but also in the CAD file. So when you go, the first thing you do is you go and shoot those control points, and that's how it marries the CAD file with real life and scales it. And then you press go, and it goes.
Here's what I'm saying. I don't have to get on my knees.
Yeah.
I don't have to use chalk line. I draw circles. Like, you showed me this in the warehouse, and you printed my name like it was nothing. Round circles, doorways, and right away it started to click into my head. Holy cow. I don't have to get down. All I do is you got a remote control. You literally set it in this place. You set up points.
Right, control points. Usually on a big job, it's the surveyor, but on smaller jobs, you could pick the corners of the building where batter boards intersect. So any reference points that are accurate, you can use to marry the CAD file with real life.
And it's just a starting point. From there, you have, as Andy said, it's just a reference point, 2 known points, and then from there, it knows where it is and it can orientate, and then it can print the rest of your blueprint on the ground, right from lines and dashes and text and just about anything you want to see.
So you'd need 4 points.
No, you only need 2. So from the 2, it's ideal if you have a third one, just for orientation to make sure you're not flipped 180 degrees, but you need a minimum of 2. And yeah, probably 3 is the best to start with. Just gets you a little bit tighter accuracies. And then from there, you can print your whole entire blueprint.
Okay, tell me about PCL, because when I saw this on your phone, I almost fell over.
So PCL used this over at the airport in Vancouver. They were redoing one of the duty-free shops. So they figured on traditional layout, they would have had 160 hours of layout time alone, amounting to about $13,000. They got into the site print, had the drawing, preloaded it in there. They went out, they did the entire layout printing in 4 hours. So they saved roughly about $10,000 just in layout costs on the job alone.
So not only did they save, the problem with human is human error. And we're talking like that was really unique design. That wasn't nothing square. Everything was round curves.
Yeah.
And for a machine to do that, it's exact. There's no human mistake.
100%. So yeah, everything's all coordinated. It's in the same spot. Another one too, where we're seeing, some issues with mistakes in Canada now is, everybody that's new to Canada, English isn't necessarily first language either. So now you can actually come through and print multiple languages. So there's better comprehension of what's actually being laid out as well. So, you can print the word door in 6 different languages if you want, and everybody on the job site can then 100% understand.
It's, to me, dummy proof.
I don't want to say
probably
anything
as close as you can get.
It's the smartest thing that
Yeah.
it's dummy proof for all contractors. They can't screw up. And if they did screw up, then they shouldn't be in the business.
100%. And another one too. So like we did a project with Ellis Dawn out in Ottawa for a hospital, and it was prior to construction. They came out, we printed everything out for them. They were able to bring their stakeholder in and verify that's exactly what they wanted on the ground, and that's what they were going to have for the build. So most people, stakeholders, they can't visualize what something's going to look like from paper into real life. So we were able to go out there, print the whole hospital. They made 1 or 2 little tweaks on it, on where they wanted some things, and they got sign off right away on it because they were able to walk through the people and say, hey, is this exactly what you were envisioning?
This is when the floor's in place and walls are up.
No, before the walls are up even.
Before the walls are up.
We see that a lot. We have a few stakeholders out in the world that really care about that. Judges are big on that. They want to see how the courtroom's laid out in a new courthouse. Surgeons, school teachers is probably the biggest one. They want to see, usually when you build a new school, you have a teacher rep, that they have an administrator, a teacher, somebody from the school board or whatever. They want to see how their kindergarten class is going to look with the desks, with the play mats and all the things. So we've done quite a few of those too. Good. So it's just about visualizing what's it going to look like when it's done.
Churches are another big one too.
Yeah, that's another.
So churches, they're very particular on making sure all the plugs are at the same height. Make sure that the pews and the altars are in a right space. Some of them, you need minimum measurements or minimum distances on there, so everything's in there 100%.
Does this print on the wall also?
Not on the wall, on the floor only, but we also see people, bring it up, but like when they're we print down the framing, and you'll make a mark on the frame, and it'll say, electrical plug 36 inches up or whatever it may be, and then you don't have to worry about the guy looking at the wrong plug and making the wrong measurement.
And the ceiling stuff, it's the same thing. So what a lot of take an electrical contractor on a big job, they'll swap the cartridge. It takes a couple minutes to do that. And they'll print the above stuff in a different color. Then they just go and drop a laser and it shoots it to the ceiling.
Especially from the floor. It's like, here's where I want that light.
Right.
Yeah.
Here's where I want everything. Speaking of school, you guys, my daughter was in, where the hell was this?
Regina.
She was down there with Skills Trade and Skills Canada. And I love this. Seeing my kids get into what I've been doing all my life and being part of Skills Canada. They liked what they saw, and that's how you guys come here. That's how we are meeting right now, is because my daughter. School, you had a remote control in there to drive this around to get it to, I guess, the point of what you wanted it to do, and that remote control was strictly just for that, to stay in line with the camera, right? What would that camera be?
So it's a total station. So all it does, measures angles and distances continuously. So it'll reference to those same control points we talked about earlier, and then it knows where it's oriented, and then it'll actually measure to the little orange prism on the top of the site print so that it knows where it is in relation to those control points.
And it's super accurate as well.
Yeah.
So we can do plus or minus an eighth of an inch, which is 3 millimeters, or we can, in a special setup, we can do plus or minus a 16th. For our robotics customers.
I don't think man can do that.
No, I don't think so. I mean, there are surveyors that can do it, but it takes forever.
Okay, let's get into the survey world, because this is what I was thinking. This is what survey guys do, right?
Right.
But they don't come into, let's say, a hospital and mark every single plug and mark. No, all they're doing is surveying for the site where the walls are going to be, and the rest is then up to man.
Right.
Now this is the new man.
Yeah, so I surveyed for almost 20 years out in the field. So typically what we used to do, we'd come in and we'd lay out a couple of grid line intersections up on a deck. And from there, all the trades guys would, snap string lines and pull the tape measure.
And that was my job. So I was a concrete contractor for a long time. And really since I was 12, I was finishing concrete. But I'd have to take over from a guy like Peter and interpret and pop lines on the deck if it was an elevated slab. And it's tough. It's tough.
But you're not going to cover electrical, HVAC, plumbing.
Exactly.
You
And
were
we're all in there
one aspect.
We're all in there on top of each other. Right. That's another issue. Whereas with this, you can just you don't have to, but you can combine it all and just get it all in one go.
Well, to me, it's a no-brainer. It's like,
Me too.
Why would you not use
exactly?
this?
Well, and I mean, you're in the industry, so you understand that, the architects will issue a new drawing, but they only issue part of it. So somebody's working on Rev 2, some of them's on Rev 6, and sometimes people just forget to send the revision out to all the trades. Well, this eliminates all that because everything's all into one. You can do it all from one stance. So what we're seeing out of some of the GCs now is instead of requiring layout to be done by the trades, they require coordinated models so that everybody's model fits together into one, and then they're going out there to print everything.
Yeah, because you would have like CAD drawings for electrical, CAD drawings for plumbing, CAD drawings for absolutely everything. And you're combining them all together so this guy can do it. You said that you could do this with not even the roof on. How long does the print stay on the ground?
It depends. It's your choice. I mean, we have a whole range of inks. So we have one ink that's erasable with Windex, which is really big in the tilt-up world. So they do tilt-up construction for data centers. Well, the data center or the warehouse people have to do their own layout, so they want your marks gone. So that's why we have that. We have some that fades in sunlight on purpose over a few weeks, all the way up to permanent. And everything.
Yeah, you thought of everything. I'm trying to figure this one out.
We're the ink people, So that's one of the things that led us down this path is we have such a strong suit in that space and some really great chemists, and we think, we can really do this.
Well, you went from a concrete guy to an ink guy.
Well, I went from concrete to construction tech. So I spent 16 years at Trimble. So this is my fourth construction tech startup, and it's not gone any faster before, I can tell you that. Those other tools, the first two especially, were a slog.
When did this first come out?
2 years ago.
2 years
July
ago.
23.
And since then, I heard this is one of the fastest growing.
I've never seen it. I mean, we built out the whole channel, or really 80% of it, inside of a calendar year. That's unheard of. The other unheard of thing is that, no offense to Peter, but we're compatible with Leica and Topcon total stations as well. And nobody's ever gotten these people to work together before. We have combined dealer meetings, even though they're in the trenches fighting each other in the same territories every day. We've got them working together, helping each other out. If they're out of some ink, the other guy will give the customer some ink and cover for them. So there's been a lot of firsts with this. The speed at which it's selling, like a clean sheet design total station would not have sold as many as we have in the first 2 years.
So it's not just that you guys are going out and doing the prints. People are buying it to do it. Companies are buying it.
Correct. Yeah. So, and we've sold hundreds of them. So from small, we've got one interiors contractor in El Paso that they probably only do 500,000 square feet a year, all the way up to the biggest companies you can think of from a construction or a logistics standpoint.
So when you did PCL, did you guys do it or did they do it?
So So PCL actually did it. We were just there to support them. So, we got them the robots, gave them a little bit of training. From there on out, it was strictly on PCL to go do this. So now PCL implements this on jobs all across Canada on a fairly regular basis. They're out there on their own. We're there for, a little bit of support if they do need it.
And you have to, because this is not only a new product, it's a whole new category. So not only the dealers, but also HP, we try to be present as much as humanly possible to learn. I think since the launch, this thing's 2.5 times faster than it was the day we launched.
Is that because you're learning from it?
Correct. We're learning from the customers and learning from this thing all the time. And so we're constantly improving. But if we're not there, it's not just about customer service, which is something that we're famous for. It's also about learning. We want to learn from the customers, and being from the field like my whole team is, Peter's team, we know, we have to be there and hear from the men and the women.
And you should be, as far as I'm concerned.
For sure. Yeah, that's the only way to do it.
Zero mistakes. Everyone's learning, and you're learning too.
But it's not a typical tech company behavior, right? So that's something that's quite unique to HP, I think.
So the really neat thing, so to Andy's point about improvements 2.5 times already, this hasn't changed.
One SKU.
Yeah.
There's
been one upgrade to it. So you didn't even have to buy a new robot. To get these improvements, 90% of it's out of the firmware. There was one little update to the sensors. You didn't have to go through and buy a whole new robot. You could buy just the sensors and upgrade those, so
And you didn't have to. You weren't forced to do it. And that's unique. Usually what happens with a total station or a printer or a laptop is they discontinue it and just force you to buy the new one. And we were experimenting, like, let's start with what would the customer want us to do and work backwards. And if you start there, an upgrade's the way to go.
10 steps ahead.
Yeah.
And they've been awesome to deal with. I mean, we have customers provide feedback to us. We send it over to HP. We get some changes if they see some value in it or some other customers are asking. We see changes in it in, a couple of months.
So in Skills Canada, Skills World Skills for that matter, and I get to put the gold necklaces on their neck when they get it gold. I love doing that, just for the trades. But there's about 47 trades, and in World Skills, it's about 60 countries that come in, and they compete. Robotics, you get haircutting, serving, cooking, like we can in all the industry we do, electrical, plumbing, building, structure, you name it. I see this. Is this in colleges now? Are we using
We
this?
have a few, yeah.
So you're trying to get it in there so the kids can play with it?
Yeah.
Because I see this being another opportunity for the next generation that, I don't know, would they open their own business? Would they have one of these and go from building to
We
building?
have people who've done that, yeah, that weren't previously doing layout. And when this came out, they said, I want to do that. Particularly in the racking world, like warehouse racking. We have one company that does that. A lot of the surveyors that have been trying to get back into layout, because in the US at least, we pushed surveyors out of the business because they couldn't scale up with us, right? Like we needed them to help us do layout and they were just doing control and leaving, and it was expensive. So that's why you have layout total stations now, is to fill that gap of where someone who's not a surveyor can use a total station because the interface is simple. We've been trying to get them to come back now because people want to hire a service just to come in and do it for them. So we've been trying to build that up as well.
I see that. I see that as a business, because if you can call someone and go, hey, come in and lay this out for me, because I don't know how to put that in the computer.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm still 10 steps ahead, and I'm probably still going to save money.
Yeah, one of them in Canada is ProPort. That's the first one that comes to mind. I don't have. We get so many customers. I don't have them memorized.
There's lots of them out there. We have everything from. I got a framer in Calgary that he's got 3 people. His whole business, 3 people. They invested into this just because they couldn't get surveyors out to site. They didn't do massive jobs, so they weren't priority one for a lot of the surveyors either. So they need to find their own way.
So like a large company, PCL, he's a smaller company, but he wants to use it.
Yeah, exactly, right? So we have everything right from the small, 3-person company right up to the large scale and everything kind of in between. We have mechanical companies and general contractors, framers. This Saturday, I'm going to Edmonton for the Carpenters Union, their big national meeting up there. So I'm going to do a little presentation on them about this stuff and the total stations. They're starting to look at this. I know down in the Vegas, I think you guys got some of these at the Carpenters Union.
Have you been at the IBS show yet?
I have not.
No, I have.
Is it going to be down there this year? Next year? I think it's February.
Well, I guess we'll see if he tells me we need to be there.
Yeah.
I listen to my people in the market.
Yeah.
I listen to my people in the market. So.
I think you need to be there at the International Builder Show.
I think the reason why these small companies and the big ones can use it is just the business model. It's you buy the robot and then the ink and the service and repairs and everything are part of a pay-as-you-go model. So you pay by the square meter or the point. And that makes it conducive to the small contractors. If it's not a rental in that sense or a subscription. If it's sitting, they're not paying, right?
This isn't going to wipe out the surveyor's business. I don't see that.
No. We're so short. So we commissioned a study.
That's what I said.
Right.
We don't have enough of them.
Amen. So we commissioned a study, and we said, what is the average age of a layout person in North America today? It's 42. And the follow-up question was, what is it in 5 years? They said it was 47. So that means no one's entering the market, but the construction market's exploding. So really it's not about eliminating people. It's about, if you've got a 2 to 3 man layout crew, it's about turning that one crew into 2 to 3 layout crews. It's because they're needed. It's not something that we're going to fix with more humans, I think.
I'm glad you jumped into that. You actually can look to see what is the age. Right now, most of the major contractors out there are about to retire. They're my age. And when we retire with all this years of experience, who the hell's coming up to it? We don't have enough in the trades, and definitely surveyors is usually have to wait for them to come in. So this is a great opportunity for the young that I see getting in, wanting to get into survey, and then getting their masters and using this little toy. Whether or not it's a master's, to me, it's going to be.
It also going to prolong careers. So the way I got in sales, I slipped and fell at work, and I did a lot of damage to my shoulder that was repaired surgically. I couldn't survey anymore. So this is about 7-8 years ago. So at the time, if this would have been around, I could have still stayed in the industry. So because you're not bending over all day, you're not swinging hammers, you're not, crawling on your hands and knees, this is really going to prolong careers of a lot of guys too.
My knees are gone. I've told everyone wear knee pads because
Yeah,
you don't
for
realize
sure.
we think we're freaking Superman, and then I just turned 62. I get down on my knees and it's hard to get back up again.
Yeah.
So clearly, sometime in my life, and hopefully not, I'm going to have knee issues. I already do. But that's another point. This is something that is not to make people lazy, because I don't like the idea of anyone being lazy, but it's going to make it easier. And what I'm seeing is way faster and exact.
Oh yeah, I mean, we've had guys get choked up in front of us. It's like not an unusual thing because, I won't say the guy's name because I don't want to embarrass him or anything, but he was about to go to the hall to teach layout, to the Carpenters Union Hall, the training center. And I won't say where because you probably figure out who it is, but he was having to get out of the business. He was on his third knee replacement, about to have the fourth. So now he can just keep working. Working is not who we are, but it's a big part of who we are. So losing that's why we get up in the morning. Obviously we want to make money, but it's that kind of stuff, especially it's our people. We're construction people. We're not necessarily tech people. And if I can help our people, I want to do it.
Damn straight. I remember, I used a hammer for everything. 4-inch spikes all the time,
Oh, yeah.
3.5. And my buddy, he comes in with an air compressor. Oh, look at this tool. And he's got the gun. I'm like, what,
Yeah.
are you lazy? Here I am playing with it. But I was honest. What are you, lazy? I bet you I can hammer faster than you.
We're dating ourselves, Mike.
I couldn't. And then that's when I bought myself a compressor and realized, and it wasn't about that I could be faster with the hammer. It was about the efficiency. And once I realized, when I had all the proper air tools, now we got battery nailers, which I love.
Yeah, me too.
I'm more efficient. To be exact with this product is the best part of this. And saving, one person could do it faster, exact, with no mistakes. The only mistake you would make that I could see is probably loading the computer.
Well, if you shoot control wrongly, that's the way, right? Like you can mess up the CAD preparation, that's one way. But then when you shoot control, you have to be very careful because it's just going to put it exactly where you tell it to put it. And that's what you're doing when you're shooting control. So if you're careful there, it's fine.
Yeah, and if you're off, 1/4 inch, that whole thing rotates, so by the time you get 60, 80 feet away, that 1/2 inch that you wrote to start with gets a lot worse. It's exponential, right?
Especially 80 feet away.
That's why the 3 points. That'll help you catch.
Logical.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And you're getting better and faster at it. Not really much for mistakes. The hardest part that we're hearing from contractors is just because it is new tech and it's a new learning curve, is people need to get all on the same schedule. So when they're asking for coordinated drawings and they're saying, hey, we need this by October 8th, some people are bringing it in October 10th. So, we had this discussion the other day out on site with one of the GCs, and that was one of their concerns was, is everybody going to be able to get them the stuff on time based on their schedules and their demands? So,
What would you do then if there were 2 days, one was out?
That's where they could start looking at things like financial penalties or just not awarding projects to them as well going forward.
Contract penalties if you're not ready.
Yeah, in a hospital, you're going to have liquidated damages. Anything in office building. So it's serious business. You have to be on time.
Well, Walmart's really sticky on
Pretty
that.
ruthless, yeah.
I've done quite a few Walmarts when I was surveying, and there's some pretty heavy financial penalties if you put them behind.
Because they know to the penny what they're losing.
Well,
That's why.
That's right. And they also know that if one screw up, it just runs downhill, right?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Like it just keeps going. It's one screw up causes screw up after, and it costs money. So to be on time, that's
At any level. It doesn't matter if it's single family housing or like I worked on the Meadowlands Stadium, the new one years ago, and it was a $1.1 billion design build single contract with Skanska. That's scary. They couldn't bond it because the contract at that time was so big, so it had to go right. And they were pulling out all the stops with any technology they could to make it on time. Now, what I learned on that job site was that people want to frame contractors as being anti-tech. That is dead wrong. If they're slow to adopt technology, it's because they're under technology overload. Everything they touch is a technology. A nail gun, a compressor, especially one of the fancy ones. A concrete pump, shotcrete pump. You know, you run down the whole list. Now you're handing them a tablet and a phone, and now this and a surveying instrument. So I got a lot of sympathy for it because they're already adopting technology left, right, and center, probably more than the average human.
Any smart company is going to look at something as smart as this and say, this is going to help my business. And as long as, just like the nail gun, as long as that I can save money, make it exact, everything's on time, everything's marked, no one's going to screw up. How can you screw up? The electricians, everything's written on the floor. The plumbers, the conduits, everything's written on the floor. And all you need is a vertical laser to come up if you're going to be on the ceiling.
For sure. I mean, we have a single tray layout is a lot of what we do. We actually combine layout because of the way contracts are written. It's a hard thing to implement. So we'll go out and lay out a single trade, and there'll be electrical conduit point sitting outside of the wall that was manually placed there. And then it starts this big investigation, and it happens to us at least once a week with a demo. And usually they find that ours is correct. So that's been pretty gratifying. And that's usually, the proof is always in the pudding. You know, that's how we sell. This thing is the biggest advertisement for itself. The key is just you get it on a job site, you don't have any problem selling to the other contractors and that sort of thing.
Again, I didn't really know about it till this morning. I looked into it, and the more that I saw what it was doing and then you answered my questions, I was like, click, this is brilliant. I'm curious, when you were out east and my daughter was there, what were you doing with it? Just teaching the kids?
So yeah, it's more so, I was there with the UA, so plumbers, pipe fitters, and sprinkler fitters. They asked us to come join us. They're one of our big partners on all the gear. And we brought this out, and we drive it around, spinning in circles, just to attract the attention from the kids, right? So they see something spinning around, it's got some flashy things on it, they get excited. They don't realize that there's this much technology inside of the trades. Right. So they come in and they're like, oh, what is this? They figure we're part of something else. That, I've met some kids that they want to do design work. They didn't realize that, plumbers and electricians and the framers all do that design work. They just figured, okay, I got to be an architect if I want to do design. Or, they don't realize that they can play with something really cool like this. Like, you ask somebody what a plumber does, and the kids go, well, they make sure your toilet's not plugged.
Yeah.
And electricians like, well, I can turn my lights on. They don't understand the trade. So to get them into something like this, they just see it as screws and screwdrivers and hammers and nails.
Tools.
Yeah. And there's just so much more to it these days. And if anything, this is the part where, I couldn't believe it until I actually got into this building construction space a little more, was the amount of tech, like Andy was saying, on the building construction side is actually far surpassed the engineers and the legal surveyors these days.
Well, we're getting better every day. I mean, when you see the tractors out there and they're all working on a GPS.
Oh, yeah.
And, that's set up through surveyors, though. All the surveyors came in and marked everything out on a big, massive property. There's one that's just south of my house, and they're building massive amounts of buildings. Surveying's the first move. And then, I just can't believe watching the tractors work on a GPS or whatever, some sort of laser level thing. Like, that's beyond me. I can drive a tractor, and I love doing it. I've done all kinds of big tractors, but I don't understand that. And I think this is a major interest for the kids getting into the trades right now, is that it's not, like you said, it's not just about swinging a hammer and how to use a reciprocating saw. It's about how we can put everything together intelligently. And that's now in the new world of toys. I want to call it a toy, even though it's not a toy.
100%.
Yeah, my dream state would be that a kid comes out of uni and they've got a job offer from Google and a job offer from Ellis Don, and nobody thinks that's weird. That would be the dream state for the construction industry.
You're in it with this thing, right?
We're taking an incremental step toward that. We're going to keep going. This won't be our only product, but I think that's when we really, everyone in the field is an engineer. Even if they don't have that diploma or that stamp, I mean, they're solving engineering problems every day. If you work in Mountain View, California at Google, you're solving engineering problems every day. Like, we have to unify our approach to engineering, I think, and elevate some and maybe lower some others, because everybody wants the brass ring. They want to go work for the big tech company. I think we need to change that. We need to get kids excited about the trades again.
You're doing it, and I see you're excited about what you're doing.
Trying, yeah.
passion.
This is going to bring kids into the trades too, right? I mean, a lot of them, they look at it and, when they're talking with their parents, it's like, hey, the trades are hard on your body. So anything we can do to kind of alleviate some of that too, makes it a little more attractive. They can come in and be, hey, I'm going to run this. I'm going to sit in front of the computer, do my design work. I'm going to go out and be able to do this, even though, they're carpenter or they're plumber or electrician, they're saving their body long term. So, it's a big, big thing. Anything that we can do to make guys' lives easier out on the job site, and especially if they're getting the same type of work or better work out of it, why not, right? It's a win for everybody.
What's keeping you going?
Yeah, I mean, I love this stuff. Like, I get super excited about all the tech and like where it's actually going to. And I mean, the conversations with HP and Trimble and where we see the industry going as a whole. So I think the building construction market, when they look at it, is probably the largest room for growth, or one of our biggest areas for growth in all Canada and all the, the entire world. So I get excited when I get this out to people and I show them, hey, this actually does change your business. It's going to make you better. It's going to allow you to, do better work, expand your jobs, get more jobs, and just
attract talent.
Yeah, attract talent. That's a big one. Kids leave these days because they get bored at a job. A lot of times, they're not motivated necessarily by money. It's about the challenge for them.
Years ago when we started, I use my son as an example. He came on the show in the company around when he was 15. So I would take him out of school in the summer, come work with me, and then he'd go back to school. And I had to do this thing to give some incentive. I'll buy you a brand new vehicle if you pass with honors to your grade 12, right? So I had to buy him a new vehicle. He saw his sisters get it, so I did. But my point to this is when he came to the job site, I said, okay, you know where you're going to start? Grab the broom. Keep the site clean. Keep it safe for everyone here. You see wood on the floor? Pick it up, move it. Keep it clean. So at the beginning, and I have a point to this, at the beginning, he was but that's how I was taught. Clean up, keep the site clean. You're going to learn from this.
Well, you can see a job's over budget because it's dirty. Like that's always
that's a
my
no-no.
first
That's
guess
where
when
people fall and get hurt.
Yeah.
So back then, you learn slowly, but if you pay attention, you're going to see the electricians working. You're going to be seeing the carpenters working. And that's what I was trying to get my son to do. He wanted to be a firefighter. He ended up being a contractor. He went to school and he got his carpenter's license. So that was great. But today, I think there's more excitement. Years ago when I was a contractor, if you went to some big place and a bunch of women were there, what do you do for a living? I'm a contractor. They turn around and look for a firefighter, right? Or a cop, someone. But Jesus, man, I could design and the house the doctor lives in and build the hospital the doctor works in. So what I'm saying is that this is becoming such a great not only opportunity, but job for everyone and recognition. Like just you guys using this thing, well, I'd take my hat off to you. This is
Thank you.
Amazing stuff to me. Amazing. I still swing the hammer. I still do what I do. But at least in my mind, I know we're going to lay it out on the floor. I've taught my guys to do this and become. Make it a habit that you do it this way and keep the site clean, keep the site safe.
We still do it too, Mike. We're always on these job sites, particularly with young guys, running the total station, and we need control in a certain spot to match the CAD file. So we got to move control, and they start getting nervous, and I'm like, no. Put the total station away. It's just a demo. Grab the chalk box. Let's go, and then we'll just go move it. My whole team's from the construction business. His is too. So I think. You still have to have the old skills. I want to stress that because garbage in, garbage out. So get the kids a good basis of knowledge and then go from there. So they know, teach them little tricks. We tell people center line a column in two directions, just 4 foot line, just to give us a meter. So if it doesn't line up with the physical column that's there in the real world, then you probably got a problem. You need to check control. Like little tricks like that. But those would be the same even in a traditional layout.
Absolutely.
Taking diagonals across batter boards and stuff like that. Like we know how to do that. We got to make sure we're still teaching them those basics. But from there, it's a whole different world.
Well, I think the opportunity for the trades right now is finally exploded. Now, we got to work a little more with the government and the students, which I know this. We need to put it more in school, and I'm talking about preschool and not just college, but that's my personal opinion. I think it's really important because you need to give them temptation. You took this thing to the skilled trades event, and they get to see it and go, what is that? And ask questions. And then there might be a mind that was there at that event that says, I'm going to be a surveyor.
And it's just like guitar. That doesn't mean every kid in the high school has to take guitar, but if you don't offer it, how can they find out if it's for them? I mean, that's a great thing about internships. My son had one over the summer, and he learned that he doesn't want to be a commercial banker when he finishes school next spring, right? So that it's important. It's not just about attracting them. It's also kids need an opportunity to select what they want to do. And
Temptation.
And it just to your point, in an informed way, like what they might have never thought that this would be something for them.
I didn't know this was even a vocation when I was in high school. I didn't know what a surveyor was. Nobody talked about it. It wasn't until I took my civil engineering tech and I got a summer job and I loved it. So from there, that's what turned into my survey career. But
so you just happened to step into the surveying?
Yeah,
by accident.
It was a summer job. I needed one. It was there. I was like, it's posted on the job board at school. I'm like, yeah, I'll give it a go. I mean, what's the worst? It's 6 months of my life.
Yeah.
Went in and I absolutely loved it.
Same for me too.
Like it was to the point where I never woke up and was like, oh man, I got to go to work. The only time that I didn't like going to work was when it was minus 40. Outside of that, I loved my job. It took me all across Canada. I've lived everywhere from, the Quebec-Ontario border all the way out to Vancouver Island, and I've been up and down the Yukon and into the Arctic Circle and all over the place. And I mean, the opportunities are endless when you get into these kind of things. So it's just, getting that information out. And there's also so much choice out there that the kids don't know where to focus their energy on too. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't put that time and effort into teaching the kids, hey, this is available to you, right? And this is what it can do for you. This is the career path on what's there. Like, the kids come in. So when I was at Skills Canada, we had, because I was in the plumber's booth, we had plumbers that were in, suit and tie that were in there. And we had guys that were in their Carhartts and they're doing soldering. So you can show them that, hey, there's this full range of job opportunities available to you that they just don't know are there.
That's the problem. They don't know. They don't. But I'll tell you, with guys like you, this
Thank you.
is amazing. And the opportunity, thank you so much for being here. You got to keep watching the innovative ideas that I'm going to keep bringing in here, because I do believe this is going to be some of the best things for the next generation. See you on the next one. Thank you, guys. If you like the show, check out the episode page on makeitright.ca for more tips. Listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and Amazon Music. Subscribe so you don't miss an episode.